Hello, I am your host, Wenizi, and welcome to the No Cooldown podcast. Today, I'm joined by nobody because Tripp is away on some sexcapades or whatever he wants to call it. He says family vacation, more like starting a family vacation, am I right? But anyways, I'm here filling my contractual obligation to get you guys the greatest content you've ever feasted your ears on. So without further ado, he left me a laundry list of video game news to get through. We're going to do it in my fashion. So what that means is there's going to be a lot of sarcasm and a lot of jokes. If you cannot handle either of those things, I suggest you stop listening now, go back to your little anime PFP Twitter account and go harass some nice game devs or whatever you do on your free time. Without further ado, wait, before we get into this, rate this bad boy 5 stars. Rate this specific episode more than 5 stars if possible. Let's show Tripp that he's spending some good money on me. And by spending good money, I mean, actually, I don't get paid at all. That's actually a good conversation to have with him whenever he gets back from his escapades. But without further ado, let's jump right into the stories. First story on the agenda. The new Assassin's Creed game was announced, Assassin's Creed Shadows, featuring the Black Samurai Yasuke. Now, many gamers are upset because they decided to take a more historical approach by using real people from that real time period. We asked gamers what they would have preferred, and basically what they said is that they would just like Assassin's Creed to just make Neo again. You know, the one with the white European dude as a samurai? They were like, yeah, that's way better in their opinion. So, shout outs to Assassin's Creed. Can't wait to play this game. Moving on. Xbox will be putting the new Call of Duty game on Game Pass. That's right, Xbox has decided to put the new COD game on Game Pass along with adding the game. Game Pass will probably change in format, so we're assuming a price increase, which is amazing. So now instead of some people paying for Call of Duty, we can all pay for Call of Duty. That being said, it is reported that the new Call of Duty campaign will be taking down an evil communist organization known as Game Pass. And of course, we could not sit here and not talk about the new Multiverses launch trailer. The new Multiverses launch trailer showcased a bunch of new things that are coming to the game, including Agent Smith and Jason Voorhees. Now moving on to the quick bites. Red Dead Redemption 1 could be coming to PC. That's right, Red Dead Redemption 1 could be coming to PC, and unless it's in the form of a minigame inside of GTA 6, I don't really care. A new Doom game was teased. That's right, Doom, the popular demon-killing game, may be coming out this holiday season, so I will be ripping and tearing my wallet open to get me a copy. You ever wanted more ads in your video games? Well, look no further. Twitch and Amazon ads are building The Glitch, a way for brands to integrate brand customized playable worlds in Fortnite, which then streamers will promote. Tripp himself issued a statement saying he is eager to see what the OnlyFans playable world will look like. More on that in the future. In the first of many collaborative news that we have today, Ark the Survival Game has teased a collaboration with Power Rangers, which sounds about as good as a collaboration between my toe and the edge of my bed. But in all seriousness, I'm excited to see what these teenagers with attitudes will do in prehistoric times. Helldivers 2 is in the news today, but not for a bad reason. Helldivers 2 has officially sold 12 million copies, which is impressive when you factor in the amount of time Sony has tried to destroy this game from being successful. Speaking of Sony and LEGO are potentially announcing a Horizon collab. Sony seems to be working with LEGO to create a Horizon LEGO set, and in true Horizon fashion, it will probably release way too close to another more sought-after LEGO set. However, this won't be the first time Alloy has had players bricked up. Adding to the already lengthy number of collabs we have talked about this podcast, Call of Duty will be collabing with Gundam. That's right, when asked about the collab, COD devs said, "We saw the word gun and thought it would be cool. We had no idea about the robots, if I'm being completely honest." That comes from the lead dev, Seymour Wiener. Xbox is also in the news today. They have reconfirmed that every first-party drop is going to be day one on Game Pass. They want to make sure that we are all very much aware of this. And if those games are as good as Starfield, then they will be a day two drop from my hard drive. An indie game that's been making the rounds this week is a game called Die by the Blade. Die by the Blade, featuring a 1v1 style of fighting, drops on May 16th, where players will lose to a single sword strike. As someone who plays Tekken, I can tell you right now, dying to one hit is very common to me. So I will be there day one. Capcom is also in the news today. It is rumored that Capcom has a Resident Evil 1 remake in development, but who is surprised when one of the Resident Evil games gets put down and Capcom keeps raising it back up from the dead. Their commitment to zombies is unparalleled. In amazing news, GTA 6 has been confirmed for fall of 2025. GTA 6 will be releasing in fall of 2025, which is exactly what a lot of PTO requests have written on them right now. Some people are even saying the school academic year is going to get pushed back a couple months. We don't know yet, but I would not be surprised. Castlevania is in the news today. Castlevania will be coming to Dead by Daylight, so Castlevania fans will be excited to... Who am I kidding? Castlevania fans haven't been excited in years. But maybe running around square boxes will give them the same sense of running around an entire castle. Who knows? I've given up hope on this franchise years ago. Another game giving us an update on when it's dropping is Replaced, dropping in 2024. Replaced was showcased at an Xbox showcase, I want to say a couple years ago, and don't be surprised when you don't hear from me when this game comes out. Another thing dropping in 2024 is a Lies of P DLC. Lies of P confirmed that they're dropping a DLC in this year, which showcases their dedication to difficulty by releasing a DLC the same year as Elden Ring. And lastly, in the quick notes, Phoenix Labs has laid off 100 people. Phoenix Labs has laid off 100 people, and the state of their company is unclear. I actually have no joke for this. This is just really quite sad, and I hate to see this happening. My heart goes out to all those people, and I hope that they land on their feet. Now moving on to the trailer trove. Tomb Raider is getting a live-action series on Amazon Prime. Although we do not believe Angelina Jolie will be coming back to reprise her iconic role, we are excited to see Lara Croft back on the big screen, or a little screen depending on where you watch TV. We're excited to see Lara Croft explore the hidden tombs and maybe finding out where Rayman and Sam Fisher were buried. Another person getting a live-action TV series is Spider-Man Noir. Spider-Man Noir will be coming out in a live-action series featuring Nicolas Cage reprising his role. And as somebody who has recently seen Madam Web, please, don't do this to me. Moving on to the next story, Super Mario Bros. 2 could help build the cinematic universe for Nintendo. Chris Pratt has said that Super Mario Bros. 2 could really help Nintendo build out their cinematic universe, which is really funny coming from the guy who killed half the people in the last universe he was in. So if Bowser ever gets an Infinity Gauntlet, let's make sure Mario is nowhere near that man. And speaking of unnecessary universes, Jason is set to get his own universe spanning games, TV shows, and movies in an attempt to create an immersive experience. Normally, I wouldn't want an immersive experience with a killer, but in the state of the world right now, hey, sign me up. In other news, Danny DeVito has spoken up about wanting to play Wario in the Mario Bros. Movie. He said, and I quote, "It would be an honor to be able to play my father." And in the last story of the trailer trove, a new Terminator anime is coming to Netflix. That's right, Terminator Zero is coming to Netflix on August 29th. The name Terminator Zero is in reference to the number of fans who still had faith in this franchise. But after looking at some of the screenshots, honestly, I'm happy this franchise just does not die. And now on to the regular stories. Local podcast listener did not rate this podcast 5 stars, and therefore his shoes are perpetually untied. Hey, guys, it's a very serious problem. If you don't vote this 5 stars, and you may be tripping over your shoelaces for the rest of eternity. So I would go ahead and fix that. But on to the real regular stories. Square Enix is changing up their strategy moving forward. They want to go from a quantity to a quality kind of approach and having more titles on more platforms. They said, quote, "We want to be on your Switches, on your PlayStation, and on your Xbox." Just kidding, I was on your X's box last night. What's up? The CEO of Square Enix seems like a real cool dude. In other news, it seems that Blizzard is hiring for an unannounced PvE game. It is reported that Blizzard has put up job postings for people to work on a player versus environment game, which would be a great change of pace for Blizzard, seeing as how their last couple of games have been player versus their own wallets. And while we're on the topic of companies that love to suck the player base dry, EA is in the news considering putting ads inside AAA games. EA believes that putting ads inside their games would generate a new stream of revenue for them. It's going to be an interesting move for them to pull off, seeing as they can barely put regular games inside their games on launch. I'm looking at you, Anthem and Battlefield 2042. Moving on, Xbox and Activision have started a new studio. That's right, Xbox and Activision announced a new studio called Elsewhere Entertainment, founded with vets from CD Projekt Red and Naughty Dog. Xbox is really excited about this new studio, while everybody else is saying, so you had money for new studios, but the studios you bought you didn't have money for anymore. I understand why your settlement got nuked in Fallout 76, Phil Spencer. And the last of our regular stories we have today comes in the form of Ubisoft. That's right, Ubisoft canceled The Division Heartland in a decision that surprised absolutely no one. We gamers are indifferent about this great loss and are unfazed about the amount of mid that will no longer be in our lives. For all 7 of those Division fans out there, My heart goes out to you. And that is all the notes that Tripp has on the podcast that I am willing to talk about. I would like to thank myself for putting this all together, myself for being myself, and only me. Just kidding. Honestly, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys as viewers and listeners. We really, really hope that this little bit of entertainment is good enough to hold you over until the next week when Tripp gets back. We're excited to see about the new things coming. Maybe that new PlayStation showcase. Hopefully, we're going to see some new games out there. Fingers crossed for Rayman, Rayman 3, Rayman 4, and maybe some Splinter Cell action in there. But if you made it to this far, make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars. I am Oneezy, your host. I will be back with Tripp maybe next week, or maybe this is just the new format. If you guys enjoyed this, please let us know in the comment section, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week. No Cooldown is out of here.